Good evening, Sharon. Good evening, Daniel, Patrick. How are you all doing? Hope you are well. Hi, John. How you doing? So this is the second pipe of a double that I'm doing today. This is the first one. So that's like a more of an apple-y kind of shape, which is ready for shaping. And this is the second one where all the difficult stuff being done, the ring and all of that stuff. Quite challenging because it's such a steep shape that I had to chisel it from this side rather than from this side to get that shank done, but it's done. And I'm going to do the same here, I think, as well. I'm going to go in that way. Just a little bit more challenging. Gotta keep your wits about you, make sure you don't hit the shank. I don't use this chisel very often. It's almost sort of down to the last few inches. It was about double the length when I got it, brand new. But I use the square one most of the time these days. But when I'm coming at it from the front, I usually use a smaller chisel. Hey, Todd. Hey up, lads. How's it going? Mike Davidson, how you doing? Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So 2 pipes on the go today. So the first one is this bent apple. You can see the grain on that already. Got some really nice grain. And a beautiful stem and insert there. Reminiscent of the ones I've been doing recently. And then we have this one here, Hey Bob, which is another beautiful stem and insert. But this is a Rhodesian, which actually might end up being a bit of a hybrid Rhodesian calabash. It's quite a nice bend on this pipe. It's more exaggerated because I've done a very steep V shape on the bowl. The chamber is tapered, so you've still got a decent thickness of the wall inside, but it does give a really exaggerated sort of V-shaped bowl, which hopefully will look very nice when it's done. I'm in the middle of a bowl of Orlik golden sliced in my egg. I'm kind of in the middle of a cigar and all. I lit that cigar earlier on, but I was smoking this in the car just before, so I brought it in. Alfonso, how you doing? Hey, Boris. So it's been a busy day. Most of the work in these pipes is in the shank. The rest of it is par for the course, the same as any other pipe. But getting these shanks done with the insert is actually, you've got the insert and then you've got to do a briar ring as well, because that's obviously going over the briar shank. So you've got to make all of those up. So that's basically 4 rings I had to make up on the lathe, which is anyway a bit more challenging on a wood lathe, but thankfully all worked out well. Don't know what that shouting was all about. Don't know if you heard that. This has now become my shop lighter. This is a Vertigo lighter which I bought at GQ Tobaccos. I think it was about 15 quid or 17 quid, but it's one of those lighters which actually works. You know, you get a lot of lighters which are beautiful, they work for a few months, and then you got to click and click and click until you get a flame. But not wishing to tempt fate or anything like that, but this, for the value for money wise, is awesome. And it's the same with the cigar lighters. I think this is also made by Vertigo. Yeah, these are also made by Vertigo. I've got a few of these. I've got one in the car, I've got a couple upstairs. Fantastic lighters, they work every time. Very, very good lighters. And they're also about 15 quid, something like that. I don't know if you can get Vertigo in the States or not. You can get Vertigo anywhere in the world, but lighters I'm talking about. Unfortunately, I have been known to suffer from vertigo quite badly. Recently, thankfully, I haven't really. I'm grateful for that. How you doing, Hawk? So I'm going to go to the shaping wheel in a minute. I'm just having a little bit of a smoke. You can get them, that's good. So like I say, I've got the apple on the go. And this Rhodesian. I did a triple line instead of two, just to give it a bit of interest. And hopefully some decent grain on that as well. This OGS is from the new tin I opened yesterday or 2 days ago. This is a 2018 tin, and there's I do notice differences from tin to tin. You know, I'm smoking it quite a lot, so I do notice the differences. What I notice on this particular tin is that there's a bit of an oily residue in the mouth. I've taken up all of my Orlik tins besides for two of them, a couple of 50-gram tins. The 50-gram tins come in flake form, regular sized flakes, whereas the 100-gram tins come in the long belts. You know, they're about I don't know, maybe 12-inch or 16-inch long belts. The tin I've got upstairs was a 100mm tin. It'll be interesting to see when I get to open one of these whether I notice any difference. I don't know. I mean, you'd think that there wouldn't be, wouldn't you? You know, they're exactly the same blend, just one cut longer than the other. But you know, tobacco is a very interesting thing. I mean, you can see that in particular with say flake tobacco versus loose cut tobacco. There is a difference. Is it my imagination, or is there light playing havoc here? Maybe a bit glare from the light behind me. I like the belts, I must be honest. What I do is I just grab the belt and I rip a chunk off. That's all I do. I don't do any real preparation. I rip a chunk off and I roughly rub it out, leave it on the tray. But the jar that I'm smoking, the tin that I'm smoking, I keep in a glass jar, in a mason jar, but not the ones with the screw lids, but the ones with the spring lids. You know, the one with the big gasket on the top, and you have the spring. And those I find are not as airtight as the screw top, like the ball jars or the mason jars. So the one that I'm smoking, I leave in there because I'm quite happy for it to dry out a little bit. And when I grab a pinchful, it's pretty much ready to go. So it's kind of a process of elimination, finding the right jar that gives you the exact amount of airtightness or lack thereof to work best for the tin that you're actually smoking. If you're smoking a blend, see, for a long time, I was smoking tobaccos which on any given day I could smoke anything from 50 or 60 open jars. Nowadays, I still dip into those jars, but much more rarely. And most days at the moment, I'm literally starting the day with OGS. So I know that jar, that's not the most airtight in the world, doesn't really matter because I'm going through that in a matter of, I don't know how long it takes. I haven't timed it. Maybe a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, something like that. Because I do smoke other stuff and I smoke cigars. So I'm not smoking 3-4 bowls of from the same jar each day. But I'll have usually at least one, if not two, from that jar each day. So I don't know, you get maybe it's 100 grams, so maybe you get 40 bowls out of it. I have smaller amounts usually, so maybe 50 bowls. So it might take me a month and a half. It's mixed in with having some roll cake as well. Although the last few bowls of roll cake I haven't really enjoyed that much. So the Orlik Golden Sliced is really taking a hit now. My stocks of Orlik Golden Sliced is really taking a hit. I seem to be opening tins more frequently than any other tobacco that I have in the past. I just find that it usually gives me a very consistent smoke. There are some tobaccos which on some days I like, some days I don't. I find with Orlik Golden Sliced, although there can be times when I don't get a great smoke, sure, but most of the time I get at least a reasonable smoke, and often a great smoke. The last couple of bowls of vanilla roll cake that I've had have really tasted like aromatics to me. And what I mean by that is, of course, it's an aromatic, but it tastes like it. In other words, I'm starting to get the artificial kind of flavors which I've never had on the roll cake. And so I've decided just to leave it for a bit because my palate is obviously just not getting on with it right now. So I'm not really smoking it. I tried a bowl earlier today. I really didn't enjoy it. So I've decided to just leave it for the moment. I want to explore some of the vapors that I've got. Somebody posted a picture of one of my pipes that they have, and they were smoking some HU Director's Cut, and they said, try it. They tagged me in the post, and they said, Simon, this is one that you might enjoy. I actually do have some of that, but I haven't tried it for a long time, so I might dip into that and try that. I also got a jar of a vapor, which I just can't for the life of me remember who I got it from. I thought I'd got it from Mark from Welsh Piper, but it wasn't. Usually if I get jars of stuff, I'd usually put the name on it, and I didn't this time. So I just can't remember who it was. Maybe one day when I try it, or maybe if I want to do a first impressions of that tobacco. It's sitting next to my desk ready for that, for the right time. So hopefully when I do upload that video, maybe the person that sent it to me will leave a comment. What's the time now? It's 25 to 12 already. I don't know if I'll get to actually start hand sanding tonight or not. I'd like to get the rough shaping done on the sanding wheel. Possibly even get the hand sanding done, and maybe an undercoat. That would be quite nice if I could get an undercoat done and let it absorb overnight. That would be pretty cool, but I'm not sure I'll get that far tonight. guess I need to put this pipe down. Getting a good blast on the retrohead at the moment from this. Whew, this is enjoyable. Definitely leaves a bit of an oily residue in the mouth, this particular jar. Well, I see the numbers are dwindling. We're down to 7 people. Oh, back up to 9. Yeah, well. You guys want to watch a bit of shaping, or should I call it a day? Well, I'd better get off then, hadn't I? All right, folks, I'm going to let you guys all do your preparations for James's show, and I'm going to plug on over here, and I'll perhaps join James's a little bit later on. Have a great night, everybody. Catch you on the next one.